just give me 1 second. Hey, Jolene, thank you for joining me too. Let me see if I can get this going here. Oh, I've got the volume turned up. So I'm doing two different things and I can't see your questions unless I get this second device going, and I have no idea how to turn the volume down. Hang on just a second. Let's see if I can fix this. Hi, can you give me 1 second while I try to figure out how to turn the volume down? I have no idea how to turn the volume down. Ha, I did it. All right. Okay. Hey there. I am Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and today we're going to make carrot seed tape. Not carrot seed cake. My husband and I had a discussion about this the other day, and he thought I said cake. So because I'm kind of a little further away from the camera today, I can't necessarily see all of your questions, but I do have a second device that I'm going to try and answer your questions while I'm live. So this is a pretty simple, it's a pretty simple activity to do, especially for those of you that are maybe stuck inside. Hey, Alan, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you can see us here on YouTube, unlike Facebook. So in the description section of this video, you have a couple links, and those are mostly our tutorial for just about everything, our comprehensive planting guide, as well as a couple videos that I have shared. We are kind of in the middle of our, food storage prepping in the garden series. I have a couple videos on the way. I've already posted a couple videos. So that's kind of the update on where we're at here at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. For those of you who've never joined us on a YouTube video, I go live here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Now, we were going for a couple months, we were going live on our Facebook page, and now we're back to YouTube. So let's go ahead and discuss how we make carrot seed tape and why we do that. So carrot seeds are very, very small. Hey, David, thanks for joining us. They are so teeny tiny. And each of our seed packs has about, well, it says 100 seeds, but there's definitely more than 100 in each pack. But it's really easy to just splash those seeds everywhere and kind of lose them. So making seed tape is one way of allowing your seeds to be spaced a little better than if you planted them by hand. Now, one thing about carrots seeds are you don't want to plant them very deep. Hey, thanks for joining us. So by using seed tape, it's pretty easy. What you're going to do, I've got a couple things. I'm going to share with you all of the different ways before I get started. So I have a roll of toilet paper. If you don't follow me on social media, you may not know that we're pretty much iced in right now. Last I checked, it was 28 degrees. And we had grassicles outside. There's icicles around all of the grass that's growing. We had sleet, we had freezing all over. It was just pretty much ice. So I wasn't able to get to the store to get any of the extra stuff that I wanted to use. So I'm using what I have. Now, a lot of the recipes I found called for water and flour. Hey, Shirley. But I don't have wheat flour. I don't have your typical baking flour that you would use. I have almond flour, and I don't know if that's going to work the same way that all of the other recipes go, but I did try it out earlier and it seemed to work. Pull up my sleeves here so I don't get a mess. So the basic recipe is a thin paper. It could be tissue paper, it could be toilet paper. 1 ply is what's recommended, but I have 2 ply because that's what I have. And I'll be honest, I tried to pull that 2 ply apart and it didn't work very well. So I'm just going to use what I have. Now, another way to place your, I should say glue. I'm going to call it glue. Hey, Kaylin. The glue that I'm using today is almond flour and water. That's my glue. Another option for glue is honey, and that's what I have as well. This is just a way to affix your seeds to your paper. Another option I saw earlier today was egg whites. So these are all natural ways, food ways that aren't going to harm your seeds. You don't want to use actual glue because that might harm your seeds. So this is the glue that we make. This is water and almond flour. Like I said, we have honey as well, or you can use egg whites. I haven't used it, but we're going to try all these different things. And like I said, I couldn't go to the grocery store to get any extra stuff because we're iced in, but we're going to use what we have. So instead of using this entire jar of seeds, I have a little tray here that I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in. That way I don't lose them. And I can just use my finger to get 1 or 2 seeds. Pretty simple, right? All right, so let's get started. We have so many different types of carrots at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. I didn't know what to use, but I'm gonna go with something really easy, and that is the Chantenay red cord carrot. Next time I do this, I might do the black nebula carrot. That is a really fun one, and they make beautiful black carrots. But today, I'm gonna make it simple, and I'm gonna use the Chantenay red cord carrots. Hey, thank you for joining me. We are making carrot seed tape. Now, part of the reason that this is helpful is it gives you a chance to properly space your carrot seeds without overcrowding. A lot of times you see in the, let's see, David says, I'm skipping the orange carrots and going for the purple varieties this year. They are amazing. I've got another one here. I've got the cosmic purple carrot here. That is going to be next on my seed tape. And hopefully in a couple weeks, I will be able to share with you the results of our carrot seed tape. So proper spacing, that is so important with carrots because a lot of times you see instructions to plant carrots and it says plant every inch or every half inch and then thin as you go. Well, if you do it this way, there's no thinning involved. So I'm going to take this. Now, some of the instructions say cut it and all that. I'm cutting out all the extra steps. I'm just going to make it simple. And I don't even have a ruler here in my space. And my, what do you call it? My measuring tape is in the shop. So I'm going to use my knuckle for 1 inch. I'm just going to wing it here. I can use all the help I can get with carrots. So one of the things I mentioned earlier was a lot of times people will plant too much in one area so they get overcrowded. And then the other part is you cover them with too much soil. So once we get our seed tape done, I'll share with you how we're going to plant these in the garden. So I want to make sure that I don't use a lot of this glue, my paste that I made with flour and water. So the ingredients for this one, like I mentioned, is almond flour and water, but you can use regular flour and water. I just didn't have any regular flour. So you're going to, let's see, it's 2 tablespoons of flour and 1 tablespoon of water to make your glue. And we're going to space these every 2 inches. I brought a pen at least. I don't have a ruler, but I do have a pen. And we're going to space 2 inches. I got 1, 2. I got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. See that? And it got through on my table. Oops. I'm going to have to wash that off later. All right, so that's going to give me my guide. And then I'm going to plant these 1 on either side because that's approximately 2 inches as well. That way I get the most out of my space. And if I wasn't doing this on a video, I would use the whole table. But just for the sake of ease for the video, I'm just going to do a little short. What is this? How many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squares. That's funny. 4 squares. All right. So we have our little bit of paste. Don't use a lot because you don't want a giant glob of it. You just want enough to get the seeds on it. Some places recommend that you use, what is the word? Tweezers to put it on. You could also use a small paintbrush for this. If you've got a makeup brush, you could use that too. I don't have a makeup brush to use, so I'm using a spoon. Like I said, we are iced in today. It is 27 degrees out. I wasn't even sure if the mail carrier was going to pick up today, but our faithful and awesome carriers did pick up our orders to get them to you. But it's pretty icy and pretty funky out there. Local school was closed, so I didn't want to go to the store and risk having a wreck, because that's not fun. Okay, so now I have my paste all along here, and I'm going to do 2 rows because this is about, like I said, it's about 2 inches. And I'm just going to drop another dollop, as my granny would say, of paste that we made, not real paste. If you're just joining me, go back to the beginning. You don't want to use actual paste. This is the paste that we made out of flour and water. Let's see, I've used a wet pencil lead to place seeds. That's a great idea. I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, so now here we have all of our seeds. I'm only going to use the tip of my finger to just gently pick up. See, I already have 3 seeds. I'm going to try and just do 1. And I'm going to drop it right on the paste drops, the dollops. Sometimes my sister and my mom watch my videos and they get my granny references. My granny was from England, and she was one of my inspiring people, inspiration to grow food. She was such an awesome lady. She grew some of the best tomatoes ever. So I do a lot. I talk about her often. I drink English tea and I think about her. So we're just putting 1 to 2 carrots seeds on each of our pieces of flour paste. I'm just going to do 2. It's easier that way. You could do 1, you could do 2, you could do 3. These are Chantenay red cord carrot. They do have a very high germination rate, but if you want to just make sure that you have a better possibility of getting lots of carrots. The cool thing about carrots, radishes, things like that, you can eat the sprouts. So if you do thin your seedlings, you can always eat them. All right, so this, I'm going to pull 4 squares. I finally made it to live. I watched the whole thing later. Hey, thanks for finally joining us. I'm glad you made it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. We're going to match this on the other side. Now, there's a couple ways you could do this. What I could have done is I could have taken this and just folded it over, and that way I had a single strip. Totally fine. But I'm going to do a lot of these, so I'd like to kind of make the best of my space. And this way I get more on a single sheet. What you do want to do is you want to make these a couple days ahead of time to allow them to dry, or you can make these and just put them in the garden immediately. So I'm going to match my 4 squares on top of my 4 squares here. And I may, don't hold me to it, I'm not making any promises, but I may try to use the honey and make a whole nother seed tape and see if it works better or the same. It says, can you use paper towels as well? Absolutely. Okay, so I've made my seed tape. I'm going to gently push down on my paste so it doesn't, I don't lose any of it. Okay. I actually made one earlier today and it almost kind of stuck to the plate, but I wanted to show you what it looked like a little dry. So I did this with lettuce. So carrots were what we're doing tonight, but I did this with lettuce just to kind of see if it would work, right? This is the first time I've ever made carrot seed tape. It's the first time I've made any kind of seed tape. So I figured you guys could join me. I'm sure there will be some bloopers involved, like if this gets stuck or, you know, getting getting the pen on the table, which I'll have to get off later. Okay, so this is our seed tape. This is ready to go, but I'm going to have to either allow it to dry or plant it. Let me get a little closer so you can see. So you see the little carrots? Now, I will go over some of the things you can use. Since I have this handy dandy roll of toilet paper, I'm going to clean up my mess. All right, so you asked if you could use paper towels. Yes, you can use paper towels. I mentioned earlier today, we're not snowed in, we're iced in. The roads are really icy, and most of the people in our small town, they're just saying, if you don't have to leave, don't go anywhere. Kaylin says, can you use other seeds? Yes, I'm going to get to that too. So you can use as your paper, you could use paper towels, you can use toilet paper. Most of the places I saw said 1-ply. I don't have 1-ply, so I use 2-ply. I did try to take the 2-ply apart and it didn't work for me. But maybe if you have more patience, you can take a 2-ply and make it a 1-ply. You can use tissue paper. So anything that's nice and porous, I wouldn't use like writing paper because that may not be as porous. But toilet tissue, paper towel, something like that, that should work. And this should work on just about any teeny tiny seeds. Now, let me explain a little bit. Carrot seeds do not need to be buried deep. One of the biggest mistakes that gardeners make in planting carrot seeds is you plant them too deep. I've done it myself. What you want to do is gently cover the seeds with soil if you're planting outside directly. Now, here's the cool thing about using seed tape. Once this seed tape is dry, I'm not going to do it right now because it's freezing outside, but eventually when I do plant it outside, I'm going to take a piece of cardboard and I'm going to lay it over the seed tape. I am not going to bury this in soil. I'm just going to gently lay a piece of cardboard over it so that it doesn't fly away. And then the seeds should germinate in that paper and down into the soil. And then I can remove that paper towel and they should be good to go. They do not need a lot of soil added to it. Now, Kaylin asked, can you use other seeds? And the answer to that is absolutely. Celery is so teeny tiny. That would be a great one. And the celery packs I think we sell are 100 to 200 seeds. And I'll be honest, we have a big scoop that we use on those. So there's probably more like 300 seeds in those packs. Those would be really good. I mentioned earlier that I used lettuce for this. So that would be another option as well. So there are most of the really teeny tiny seeds. You can definitely use this type of method. And one thing I saw was that you can actually, once this dries, if you did a long sheet of it, you can actually roll it up and save it for later, which is pretty cool, right? It's a perfect fun activity to do if it's snowing outside or if it's ice outside and you need something to do and you don't want to sit in front of the TV, or you just want to kind of get into the groove of planting seeds. The seed tape sounds like a good idea. Now, I will have to tell you how our seed tape does in about 4 weeks. I'll have to plant it when it's not so cold. I'll have to put some cardboard on it and wait for it to germinate, and I'll have to get back to you and let you know how it did. So that is my video for today. We are making some seed tape and I didn't have to go to the store. All of the items that I used here, I just had in my cupboard. So that was really a plus for me. Hey Cindy, sorry you're late. What is the paste? Go back to the beginning of the video and you'll see it. This is flour and water. I didn't have regular wheat flour. I had almond flour and that's what I used. So it wasn't as pasty as maybe it should have been, but we'll just, hopefully it works. In the description section of this video, you will find a couple links. We've got our comprehensive planting guide. We have a couple videos that I've already done. And coming up next is going to be another video in our series for food storage, prepping in the garden. So we've got lots of new videos coming along. You are headed for a foot of snow. Well, seed tape would be a great thing for you to do if you're looking for a fun activity that doesn't involve shoveling snow. All right, so I'm Mary at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. If you've got any questions after you watch this video, you can always send an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. And me, Mary, I will answer your questions. All righty, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm live here every Thursday at 5 p.m. I will most likely not be going live on Facebook any longer because we're moving back to YouTube. We've got a lot more fun people to reach on YouTube as well. It's a little less sketchy than Facebook. Thanks for joining me and have an awesome evening, guys.